Hey, everybody, welcome back. Happy Skews Day, and beware, for verily it is the Ides of March, March 15th, 2022, to be exact. I'm Trey Crowder, and that's Mark Agee. What's up, Mark?
Was that right? This week's also the 2 year anniversary of the official launch of COVID, I think is the way we're tracking. I think it was
Mm,
March 11th where NBA shut down, NCAA tournament got canceled.
yeah,
It's my
it was
last day going to a job in
right. It
person.
was definitely somewhere around here, yeah, because I remember we had we had been touring so much, and then we took a self-imposed break from the road in
Hmm.
January and February of 2020, which we scheduled a year in advance. We're like, yeah, that'll be
Hmm.
nice. And so our first dates back were in Raleigh, North Carolina on like March 13th ish or something like that. And I landed, went to the hotel, and got into my room, and my phone rang, and my agent was like, "Yeah, it's off. You could just go back," and then didn't have more for a long time after that. So yeah, happy COVID anniversary, everybody, or shitty anniversary. I don't know what you say about a terrible anniversary, but yeah, 2 years still going strong. Real staying power, COVID has.
Yeah, yeah. Did I ever tell you if it's on the show? Did I ever tell my mechanical bull COVID story?
I don't think so.
So the last thing I was doing that day, it might have been March 11th or March 10th, is me and you said we, you're including talking about Corey and Drew. Me
Corey and
and
Drew,
Corey were
yeah.
working on this game show development thing, and we're doing a run through of the pilot, and it was a game show. The premise of which would be like in the final round, you answer trivia about country music and shit, and then you're on a mechanical bull, and every answer you get wrong, it speeds up until you fall off, and that's how much money you get for your writing.
All right, I like it.
So I'm sitting there watching this as I get notifications. Tom Hanks has COVID.
Uh
NCAA
huh.
tournament's canceled, and I was like, "Holy shit! This is the last thing I'm ever going to do when I'm watching a paid extra ride a mechanical bull for $50."
Yeah. that was like the last thing you did in person
Yeah,
professionally. Watch the guy
yeah,
ride a mechanical bull and try to answer questions about Toby Keith or whatever.
yeah.
That's
So I mean, right,
appropriately silly for what we
I
do.
I go to in person work one day every 3 weeks right now for our shoot days. But yeah, yeah, that was very surreal. It's like, oh, this is my the roll credits moment of my career in show business, and it's a guy falling off a mechanical bull.
Yeah.
Uh, Real quick, we're going to talk about daylight savings time for a little bit, but I want to shout out Canada because they have so many people. We make fun of them a lot a few weeks ago because of the trucker shit, but they got so many people volunteering to fight in Ukraine. They got a whole Canadian battalion over there. So shout out to the Canucks.
Yeah. I
Um,
don't know
eh,
that much about like military stuff, but as I understand it, Canada's pretty badass in that regard. Like I've always heard that people didn't realize it or something, but really in World War II, they were some hardcore motherfuckers who were holding shit down. So yeah,
I
respect to
mean,
Canada.
they're right there. We never invaded them, sir. There must be a reason.
Yeah, right.
uh,
Yeah, they got plenty of stuff we'd love to have, and for some reason we just keep letting them be there. So yeah, obviously there's something to that.
And also briefly, because we were really laughing about it over the weekend, I want to mention the guy who on Sunday afternoon bid and won $518,000, I think, for Tom Brady, the ball Tom Brady used to throw his last touchdown in the
Hmm.
NFL. And then look, 15 minutes later, Tom Brady's
Yeah,
like, "I'm back, baby."
dude. It's in like, look, the a dude who could spend $500,000 on that ball, I'm sure it's
Yeah,
probably just like a
fucking
drop in the
yeah.
bucket to him, but it's
Mm,
still so funny just because of the timing of it. It was literally that. It's like Tom Brady saw that and was like, you know what, fuck that guy,
mhm.
for some reason, and just
Yeah.
unretired, made that ball worth $200 or something 3 hours after he spent a half a million on it. It's pretty funny.
Let's talk. So Congress did something today, Trey.
Yeah,
Um,
super
the Senate
impactful and everything. Something that's going to really turn the tide in this country. They came together and they got it done.
the Senate voted fucking unanimously to establish permanent daylight savings time, so we don't have to set our clocks back in November. I think
So
it's
does that mean
hilarious.
that that's happening? Like, if Joe Biden signs this, then that, as of this
The,
year, that will be the deal. We're not going to do
the,
it anymore.
the House still has to pass it, but I
Right.
can't imagine something the Senate passed unanimously won't get past the House because somebody has some polling data. But which is really funny. But people feel really, really strongly about this, and I find that really funny. I fake rant about it, although I don't really care that much. Although I do like extra sunlight at the end of the day.
Sure.
Um,
What's the pro? Like, I do not have strong feelings about daylight savings time, but I always felt like, yeah, like you said, extra hour sunlight at the end of the day, that's fine. Why not? I always like setting the clocks back too, because you get like an extra hour of sleep that night, which is big for
Yeah.
me. So one night a year, I get real excited. Like, yeah, I'm gonna wake up with a whole nother hour tomorrow morning. But that's about the extent of my passion on the subject. So some people are what really not for this, or they're super for it, or both, hotly divided
Reaction
subject.
has been largely overwhelmingly positive as far as I've seen. Although I've seen a few contrarian because, like, here's the thing. Apparently, we had the same big fight in 1974, and Congress ended daylight savings time. And then 1 year later, everybody hated it so much we immediately went back. So I imagine we're going to be doing this again in a year, which is just really fucking funny because we never learn from ourselves. In general, like me personally, let's pretend I'm a person with no empathy. This really hits for me because, like, one, I don't get up super early. I don't have any kids. The idea that the idea that kids would be waiting for the bus at in December in the dark. Let's pretend that doesn't matter to me. I find this awesome, but the thing I find truly funny, like people like I think are confused about why we have daylight saving or who's behind it. Like people always think it's like farmers.
That's what I
Farmers,
always heard. Yeah, it was farmers, extra hour daylight for farm purposes. But I mean, farmers
yeah.
get up early.
Hmm.
It's like you're taking that daylight away from the first part. But
Yeah.
whatever. That's what I always heard about it. Real quick, I want to read this tweet Matt sent us from Nancy Fraser, who's a skewer. It says, "Our long national nightmare is nearly over. I have to say, this feels like weed being legal in my state. Like, this is really happening in my lifetime." So there's somebody pumped up about it. But anyway, going on, we've been lied to by big sun, big
Yeah. So
daylight.
my understanding is farmers actually hate this because it messes with the circadian rhythms of the. They hate changing clocks because it messes with the circadian rhythms of like dairy cows and shit. So it
Right.
messes up milk production and so it's also people think it's because of like to save energy during the war. That's not true. Daylight saving doesn't save any energy, but if you're for this and you're suspicious at all about why Congress would do this unanimously, you need to know the real reason why who's behind this and who loves it. It's the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce loves daylight saving time. So much so that I imagine they're super in favor of it becoming permanent. Because what happens is, with an extra hour of daylight at the end of the day, people are spend more time shopping on the way home from work. They go out to eat more. They, I think, somebody did the math and like people spend $70 million more a year on golf because of daylight saving time.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Even the good things that happen if you're for this are because America is irrevocably corrupt.
Capitalism, baby. Spin,
Yeah,
spin, spin. Yeah. Well,
yeah, yeah.
happy permanent daylight savings time, everybody. All right. This producer Matt is with us as always. This is Weekly Skews. I want to remind you of the requisite two items. Number one, if you're vaccinated, want to see me live, you can go to wellreadcomedy.com for tickets. Got some fun dates coming up. Gonna have to update Matt's graphic there soon. We're gonna be adding some more later, pretty soon for later this summer, and it's going to be a good time. So come and come out, see me. It'll be fun. Number two, also want to tell you, if you are in the need for some more Skews action, you can get it for no more than $5 a month. That's right. You go to weeklyskews.com/more or Patreon and look up my name and get on that Skews tier there, $5 a month. You get full length bonus episodes of the Skews. We've done multiple iterations already, and we've got another one coming this week on the insane practices of a particular breed of American billionaires, sports owners. That's some wild shit. We're having fun
Yeah,
with it. We hope you'll
it's going to
join us.
be just because I know a lot of you aren't into sports. It's not really about sports. It's about labor issues and
Yeah.
robbing taxpayers, and
Yeah.
involves a really hidden story about some stolen penguin bones. So,
Yes, stolen penguin bones. That's right. Smuggling penguin bones out here. Sports owners, truly
mhm.
nefarious. But yeah, like you said, not focusing on the sports part so much as the lunacy of the wealthy and sorriness. Anyway,
Mhm.
holler at us on Patreon. As for the show tonight, many Americans' favorite thing to complain about at present, gas prices. Who's to blame? Joe Biden, of course. That's what they say. Is there more to it? We will attempt to decipher it and complain about all of the complaining. That's what we're going to do. But first, a myriad of dumbasses for you, beginning, as always, with our daily dumbass. Matt, graphic, please. Tonight's DD, everyone on Earth except for Donald Trump, who has uncovered what's really going on with the crisis in Ukraine. And let's hear it from him. Matt, play it.
It would have never happened. And we did talk about it. I mean, he definitely wanted Ukraine, loved Ukraine, would never have happened.
What do you see happening next then? Because it seems like the tensions are high. How does this all end? Is this going to
Who
be
are
like a
these
long-term
guys?
thing? How do you see it unfolding?
Well, and I said this a long time ago. If this happens, we are playing right into their hands. Green energy, the windmills, they don't work. They're too expensive. They kill all the birds. They ruin your landscapes. And yet the environmentalists love the windmills. And I've been preaching this for years. The windmills, and I had them way down, but the windmills are the most expensive energy you can have. And they don't work. And by the way, they last a period of 10 years. And by the time they start rusting and rotting all over the place, nobody ever takes them down. They just go onto the next piece of prairie or land and destroy that. It's incredible that they want, but other forms of green energy, they don't have.
So I love the way his brain works because it's like a one-man improv scene.
Yeah.
The podcast he's on right there, it's called The Nelk Boys, and they're essentially the Canadian equivalent of College Humor. And I don't know how they got this interview because what they do is pranks. Like their last they made a video earlier this week where it was like a 30-minute long fake documentary where what they did was they tricked a Bigfoot hunter into thinking he'd found Bigfoot. And it was pretty funny.
Yeah,
And
that sounds all right. I mean, I could get into that.
and they're very popular. That video got like 4 million views in less than in a week in Canada. You know, they're Canadian. So I can't figure out. I mean, I imagine they got the interview with Trump because of how many views they get. But I think they were pranking him.
Right, because they do pranks. All right.
Yeah. So like they're just like these guys for College Humor used to prank each other. One of them tricked his girlfriend into thinking she was being proposed to at a basketball game, and she never spoke to her boyfriend again. So that was really funny. But they do shit like that. And here's a video of them. Like I think here's what makes you think they're pranking him or fucking with him because they call him Donnie. Listen to this.
Donnie, I wonder.
It is sort of interesting.
Well, I'm just saying, no.
So
This is-
crazy.
So yeah, it's what a fucking dumbass.
Well, it feels like somebody it feels like they beforehand they were like, bet you won't call him Donnie or something like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? He's like, I'll totally
Yeah.
call him Donnie. Watch me. I'll do it. Like feels like that type of thing to me. But yeah, he
Yeah.
just sort of rolls with it. Yeah, is he like on the podcast circuit right now? Like, is that like, because I hadn't seen him popping up on these either.
I mean, the man, they kicked him off Twitter. He's got to get his juice. He's got to get his fix. Talk to the people.
But
Yeah.
yeah, they're just trying to distract you. Russia, Ukraine, everybody. From Big Windmill. Everybody, listen, think about the birds and the prairies for
We
once.
played video of him complaining about windmills before. This whole thing, he's like I almost just called it quixotic, but it is literally quixotic because he's literally tilting at fucking windmills. Because this goes back like a 20-year-old beef he has with windmills because in Scotland they built wind turbines off one of his golf courses and he thought it messed up the view and he filed a bunch of lawsuits trying to stop the windmills. And that's sort of been baked into his brain, not just that I don't want windmills messing the view from my golf course, but windmills bad. And he's in a one-man war with windmills.
How do you feel about the aesthetic nature of windmills?
I'm not really an aesthetics guy. Like I just like things to be useful. And if we save the planet, but I have to look past the windmill to see a sunset, I am
I
fine
mean,
with
look,
it.
I'm trash and as such, utterly bereft of taste. Okay. I'll be the first to admit that. But like, I've always thought, like, I remember when we were moving to California on I-40, the stretch that goes across West Texas, which is all them West Texas plains and stuff out there. We drove through there at twilight and there's a shitload of windmills. And I thought it was like, super rad looking. I thought it was beautiful. I think it hit harder than me than all that flat land by itself would have. I didn't realize that people thought windmills were eyesores, I guess is what I'm saying. I've always thought they were cool, you know.
Yeah.
And not just
I
the
mean-
old Dutch ones, you know, that like you get the collar of your shirt hung on in a slapstick comedy from the 50s, but like you know, the modern ones too. But maybe that's just me.
I think this state that has this isn't based on no research, just my eyeball test. A state where I remember seeing the most windmills, wind turbines, was Hawaii, which is famous for its ugly scenery.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, who knows what the fuck he's talking about? Let's move on to his progeny. Our honorable mention. First honorable mention here. Anybody who thought Donnie Jr. couldn't put together some fat beats, he's got a new outro on his Twitter videos, whatever he's doing here, and get ready
I
to
love this.
bob your head to it.
Erased by big tech. Hope you guys are doing good.
Wait for it. Yeah.
Oh hell yeah! Oh shit!
Oh shit.
By big.
It's so funny to me because you know what the favorite drug of DJs is, Trey? One of them. It's got to be cocaine, right?
Mhm.
Which everyone is famous for thinking Don Jr.'s on because he makes videos that are much crazier than this, where he's just off on some wild out rants. But I want you to know that someone is in his corner and standing up for him, asserting that he does not do cocaine. Matt,
That's right.
put this video.
Don Jr. is a cokehead because he has high energy, and they always say that about me. Ha! You got the wrong guy. I don't need stimulants. Anything alcohol I've done over the years off and on because it lowers me down. See, the left doesn't have energy, folks. They don't
People
get
famously never
Don
mix
Jr.
Coke and
giving a
booze.
powerful speech. And I mean, he's really becoming a good orator. One of the best. I mean, just a couple years ago, he was okay. Now I'm like, damn, that's a powerful speech. That's better than Joel Osteen or somebody or Martin Luther King. I'm not kissing his ass. I mean, he's just come a long way.
Oh god, okay,
Don
you said it, Matt.
Jr., an orator on the same level as Martin Luther King, according to Alex Jones, which is probably the least crazy thing Alex Jones said this week, I would imagine. Maybe I'm with Junior, totally see it. Alex Jones, I have no trouble believing that he actually isn't on anything other than just like his own lunacy. You know what I mean? Like he's so pure, distilled crazy that I can see that manifesting itself in, that way where it seems like he's on cocaine, but really he's just on fucking human alien hybrid conspiracy theories or whatever all day. But Don Jr., yeah, he coked out.
Yeah, plus all the nootropics and brain powder and gorilla testicle, pills that he sells on his website. But she's taking all of those. Yeah, I like the idea that Don Jr. is a good speaker is such a wild take. Like it's like Vladimir Putin thinking he looks good with his shirt off type shit. Which Putin ain't bad for a 70-year-old dude. But I'm saying like he's like the picture of reality when he reads a horse is like, how gassed up are you on your own propaganda?
Mm-hmm.
I've watched a decent amount of Don Jr.'s speeches putting together our dumb show, and the man makes no sense, and he's obsessed with dumb bullshit. He's perfect, which I guess a lot of people are, because his father hits for people. It's the same thing, but like he also, the way he speaks has changed over the years. He's doing an impression of his dad now.
I know, I know. I thought that too, even in that short clip. And you said, yeah, it seems like he's like actively trying to sound like his dad more than he used to. Which again, I mean, I guess that makes sense if you're him. Might as well try to imitate him if you're not going to get any kind of like actual love or support from the man. So maybe he started doing that when he was like looking in the mirror in the bathroom, and impersonating his dad back to himself, telling him that he loves himself. Yeah, loves him and he's proud of him and all this stuff. And then he did that so much, he now has just kept doing it without realizing it in the public eye. Something like that. That's just a theory. Speaking of theories, Herschel Walker's got one for you. He's our next honorable mention. You're likely to have never heard this before, so prepare to have your mind blown when Herschel Walker, Senate candidate in Georgia and noted former Bulldog, gets to talking about evolution. Matt, let's hear it.
Here, that means somebody up there had to say, let there be light, that the earth started, and then he had to put someone there on earth. Because remember, Adam was there. Remember, Adam came there, then Eve came. So somebody had to start it out. So that means there had to be a God. Because it didn't just some bomb blew up and it started out. And then I'll tell you something else I heard. Now think about this. Because at one time, science said man came from apes. Did it not? That's when you go to the science.
Every time I read or hear that, I think to myself, you just didn't read the same Bible I did.
Well, this was interesting, though. If that is true, why are there still apes?
Ooh.
Think about it.
Checkmate.
Now you're getting too smart for it.
No. Think about this.
All right.
We have
Deal with that, everybody.
We've gotten so into
Okay, like it's first of all, you got to be pretty dumb to say that thing in the first place. But it's like a whole nother level to clearly think that it's like this big revelation you're making to people at this point. It's like the go-to cliche for
Yeah.
bad evolution arguments is that exact thing. If we evolved from monkeys, why are there still monkeys? That's been like beaten to death so much over the years. And so for him to just be like, now think about this, guys. Listen, are you listening? Sit down, check this out. Why are there still apes? Just adds a whole nother layer of dumbassery to it for me.
It was like a frequently stolen 80s stand-up joke. But the thing was,
Right.
those people were playing dumb to be funny, right? It wasn't, no one actually thought they were literally making a joke about how they themselves are stupid. Herschel Walker apparently watched some terrible road comedy from 1986 and thought it was a good point. But it's also like there are different kinds of apes.
Yeah.
If there's a silverback gorilla, why are there still regular gorillas?
Right. Yeah.
It's like it doesn't make any. Why are there different kinds of fucking dog? I mean, I know the dog ones, we did that to them, but
We
like,
did do that to them. Yes.
But what the fuck? Like we're doing like everything's getting so dumb. We're gonna have to do the Scopes monkey trial again.
Well, it's like I don't know. It's like they hear it and think that it's the same thing as saying that like a chimpanzee turned into a man, and then I guess a lady chimpanzee turned into a whoa man, and then
Yeah.
those two had the first human baby, and then there's been humans ever since, and no more chimps anymore or something is how they interpret the argument, as opposed to modern day apes and us share a common ancestor fucking million eons ago. I don't know why that part of it. It's just that like that's an easy like soundbite thing for them to say that they think makes evolution sound stupid, which actually makes them sound stupid, but they're oblivious to that part, so they just roll with it. You know what I mean? Like you can't rationalize something like that.
What? Why are there quarter horses if there were pinto horses? Like it's like, like you can. I mean, I don't want to argue about evolution with people, but like this is not an argument against it or for it or whatever. It's just
Yeah.
it's just if somebody's stringing words together in a stupid sentence, and he's going to be fucking elected senator.
I know, dude.
So-
Yeah, for sure. Well, fucking go dogs. What are you gonna do? He's like
Good
they just won
content
the
for
national
us, baby.
championship. He's one of the greatest dogs of all time. Pretty much a lock, I feel like. All right, let's talk about the truckers a little bit. Why not? And not the wonderful Southern Rock outfit drive-by truckers, but just these regular ass truckers out here have been causing so much havoc recently. And our first honorable mention, as we get into that portion of the show, is anybody who doesn't think that getting a haircut draped in an American flag from a dude with a ponytail while listening to a Kid Rock song about pills is not the most patriotic shit a person can do. Let's see it. Prepare to feel the eagle in your heart soar as you watch
Jim
this.
getting a haircut by Mr. Inco Herb, Free Barbershop, Hagerstown Speedway. Free haircuts for the truckers. He does take donations.
Oh shit! Turn that off. Turn it off, Matt.
Oh, we get copyright. Oh yeah, we get copyright. Yeah, good point.
I was sitting there kind of vibing to the old Kid Rock jam. Fucking, I about started mouthing the lyrics along myself, and then I realized, like, oh shit, we're playing a Kid Rock song on this. Yeah,
It's a good song.
I'm really paranoid about that. Yeah, that song, shit. Again, grew up white trash. That song slapped for me. Drew said he saw him in concert, and he came out in a white tuxedo playing an all-white piano for that song. And Drew says he'll remember that till the day he dies. But anyway, listen, present day Kid Rock. No. Well, I would not even defend olden times Kid Rock either, I guess, except for, if you was in a trailer, it was what's up. Anyway, this guy, looking good, looking lined up.
So, do you understand what's happening here? The truckers have established a camp at a dirt racing track in Hagerstown, Maryland, which is like 70 miles from the closest entrance to the Beltway. So they're commuting 68 miles each way just to go drive in circles around DC. And the funny thing about them choosing the infield of this dirt racetrack for their base camp is it rained earlier this week, so they couldn't go drive around DC because they were stuck in the mud at the dirt racetrack. This whole thing is such a farce because, one, there aren't really enough of them to do anything, but they are annoying, and they've gotten extremely fucking weird. But, like, just to get the vibe, like, one, nobody likes them. They check out this traffic jam, this video of this traffic jam, where it's just like it's nothing but you just gotta see it. Or I guess we don't have it.
No, well, it's
Okay. Yeah.
if Matt
Okay. It's
gets
just
it pulled up, it's just a bunch of truckers in traffic, or a bunch of
yeah,
trucks in
yeah,
traffic rather in DC.
yeah.
I
Same
can't
way.
even tell by looking at it though, because I know DC is like legendary for its traffic and whatnot. I
Yeah.
know we talked about that on a previous episode, but I just from like looking at it, not living there, I can't tell like, is this egregiously bad? You know what I mean? Or are they just like sitting in the traffic that would already otherwise be there? So it's just this traffic has
Yes.
more dumb truckers in it than
Yeah.
it
It's
typically
like
would on average.
you remember that song "Blue on Black"?
Yeah. Yeah. Hell
It's like
yeah.
that. So yeah, I don't think they made much difference. To the degree they did fuck up traffic, I think it's because the DC cops, the different agencies around DMV area are doing different shit. Like the Maryland cops seem to be pretty pro trucker. The DC cops are still remembering January 6th. They don't want to let them into the city because they're afraid of some other shit could go wrong. So they've blocked off exits. So to the degree they're fucking up traffic, it's because the DC police closed a couple exits they couldn't get off. Let's just play the video of the guy complaining about getting flipped off, Matt. It's the next one down after the honking video.
Go all the way across country with these people, and not one time did I see anybody flip us the bird. Not once. We're going around a beltway, birds are flying everywhere. That's the kind of people that live up there, you know.
All right.
Just, I
There's
mean,
In DC, it's a different world, you know.
There's not a
DC
town in America where you could drive around and intentionally fuck up traffic
Right.
and not have somebody flip you
I
off.
know. It's such a painfully oblivious statement to make. It's like, the whole way here, nobody was flipping me off. It's because, yeah, you weren't purposefully fucking their day up on your way there. You were just driving to the place where you were going to fuck people's day up as a plan. And then when you get to the place and start executing the plan to fuck people's day up, you mean all of a sudden people start flipping you off and you're like, that's a reflection on the culture of the town that you're currently fucking up. Like, it's so dumb. What do they think? Like, do they think people are just gonna like get out and stop and get out and clap for them? Fucking wave flags and shit. You're doing it. You're fucking doing it. Fuck my job. I don't need to be there anyway. I'd rather spend this time fucking giving you props for being a true patriot in your truck.
This back half of that video, the general tone of voice and shit he's saying is basically that like why aren't you greeting us like liberators? We're here to save you. And it's like you're fucking up my day. This is from this morning. A reporter that's following the convoy tweeted this. The truckers of the People's Convoy this morning are taking a mystery route around the Beltway, as many of them continue to claim they're being followed by government helicopters, and frustrated commuters are actually agents of Antifa. So the people flipping them off are Antifa, and the traffic helicopters reporting on the shit they're doing are government black helicopters.
Deep state, yeah. Deep state and Antifa, both converging to ruin their convoy.
So they did manage to get a meeting with Jim Jordan, and they had a meeting with a senator go poorly because he wouldn't give in to their demands because no one will say what their demands are. That's another thing. No, these people keep getting asked what their demands are. They don't fucking have any.
Right.
There's nothing they want because one, the government's not doing anything about COVID anymore. There is no federal vaccine mandate similar to one that the Canadian truckers were in theory protesting. There's nothing. They're just like literally. I always thought that honking your horn when you're stuck in traffic was the funniest thing because it's just like an impotent rage being expressed to the universe.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And they're just doing that.
You're so right. This is like the protest version of just honking your horn in standstill traffic. So it's like, what?
Yeah.
You think that? I don't know. Anyway, let's see.
It's important to know that that the most annoying pointless protest in history has won the support of the most annoying and pointless senator in U.S. history, Mr. Ted Cruz. Let's watch him try to struggle to climb down out of a truck after doing a rattle.
Yes, please.
They're slow clapping for him attempting to climb out of a truck.
Yeah, go ahead.
If that's like one of his people, like had to say, it's not. That's not easy to do. He's doing it. All right. Even amongst these people, the type of reception that Ted Cruz has gotten has been appropriately Ted Cruz-like. Whenever you've got that next one, Matt, you can go ahead and throw it up too, because I appreciated it.
You look at the origins of the pandemic. The virus. God bless you.
I like how so many people yell he sucks in the middle of his speeches that he has a canned response to it, like
Yeah.
Eric Collins does with hecklers. Like, I don't go to where you work and smack the dick out of your mouth. That's his.
Right.
God bless you, his version of that.
Gotta have something.
This let's do this one last one, and then we can skip to this segment, I guess. I want to show this movement has drawn the crazies, as you would expect. Listen to this lady explain how she's cracked what COVID was. We've talked about gematria a lot. I want you to see what it sounds like in the wild.
When it came out, it was Corona, right? Corona. Corona is 6 letters. When you use gematria and you say A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, and you put Corona lined out at 666. So that's 666. But we found that out. So they're saying the white wing crazies found it out, so they changed it to COVID-19.
All right.
Which
But
is
hang on. Yeah. No, keep going.
C.
Man.
What is this? C, right?
The C, yeah.
Ovid. Look it up. Ovid means sheep.
Not
19, military code for surrender. C, sheep, surrender. That's no joke.
Wow, that is actually the first I've heard of that.
When?
Yeah. Well, again, just like Herschel Walker, argue with that, Mark. Let's hear it. What do you got for that? Seems pretty ironclad to me.
If you don't know what gematria is, it's a Kabbalistic method of. This is from the dictionary definition because I want to be able to be accurate here. It's a Kabbalistic method of interpreting the Hebrew scriptures by computing the numerical value of words based on those of their constituent letters. So it's like ancient Jewish astrology, basically. It's not mainline Judaism. Yeah. What do you? The Q people are really into this shit, but I just can't wrap my head around a worldview and a lot of conspiracy theories like the eye on the back of the dollar or whatever. Why the fuck would the Illuminati give you an easy to decode code to figure out their plans?
Well, they don't think it's easy. They think they cracked it. Like they think it's some Alan Turing shit they've done by deciphering this or whatever. And it's also fun because anything with, you mentioned it before, but anything with like numerology and whatnot, it's like it seems like it feels like Da Vinci Cody to them or something, which is why it appeals to them, I guess. But it's funny because I only noticed this because Killer Mike pointed it out in a rap song, but Ronald Wilson Reagan is 666, and that one's very straightforward. And I just wonder like how those people would respond to one that's way less convoluted. Maybe the fact that it's less convoluted would be disproof of it to them. You know what I mean? They're like, oh no, that one's too obvious. You got to dig deeper to get to the truth of it. They probably got a whole other number bullshit equation for what Ronald Reagan's name actually, amounts to in terms of numbers in the Bible or whatever the hell they're doing over there.
That's off Killer Mike's 2013 album, Rap Music. The song's called Reagan, and it ends with "I'll leave you with these 4 words. I'm glad Reagan dead." Great song.
That song goes hard, bro.
Yeah.
I saw him that year live at Bonnaroo, not Run the Jewels, just Killer Mike, and it was fucking super rad. He had the whole crowd chanting "fuck Ronald Reagan." Even my good friend from work who had grown up a good Christian conservative. I was like, well, if your daddy could see you now, he wouldn't be happy about this, buddy.
Music can move your soul, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Well, all of America. You want to talk about the main thing, Trey?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, other than these truckers whose big rigs get 6 miles to the gallon who are going around driving 400 miles a day voluntarily, everyone else seems to be worried about gas prices. And I understand it's hitting people's pocketbooks, and they want something to blame, someone to blame. So what we're going to do today is figure out who to blame, because things never have complex causes. They have simple ones with bad guys you can point to and make an answer about. So, a few facts. Right now, gasoline costs about $4.32 an average as of today. They're up all over the world, by the way, and for a variety of reasons. To hit a historic high, though, for context, gas prices would have to hit $5.37 adjusted for inflation. That was 2008 when gas got super high. And if you remember that, people got real mad then too. People have been arguing a lot about who the bad guy is here, and it's already started. For example, the Republican leader of the House tweeted out, "These are not Putin gas prices; they're President Biden gas prices." And here's another video that makes a similar point in the stupidest, most fake way possible. This is a crisis actor situation. I love it.
I think it would be anywhere better to come sign up, register people to vote. Because if you want to get out of this mess, if you don't want to be paying $4 on soon to be $5, $6, maybe even $7 a gallon gas, then you need to vote for Republicans and get some good people in office. I see a guy right over here. Let's go ask him how he feels about his gas prices. Hey, brother. Hey, man. How you doing, man? Doing good, and you? Doing good. I've got a video going behind me. You mind if I ask this question about the gas prices? Sure. How do you feel about paying $4 a gallon for gas? It sucks. It sucks. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's hurting dining room politics all over the place. Well, I think it would be anywhere better.
Yeah.
It's Madison Cawthorn for people just listening. Always on
Hit
the
him with your
bleeding
nickname
edge.
for him. Hit him with your nickname for him, Trey.
Oh yeah, old Heil on Wheels there.
Yeah.
Heil on Wheels,
Yeah.
Madison Cawthorn, keeping his finger on the pulse with the American working man, as he is wont to do.
If that guy's an intern at his office acting, I'll fucking shoot myself. The guy was a plant. So here's the weird thing. Oil prices are actually down some.
Right.
Like oil, they aren't back to where they were like a month ago, but they dropped 30 prices this week, and it's still going up at the pump. And one of the reasons it dropped, it was like last April was about $60-$70 a barrel. Late last year, it got up to about late last week, it got up to almost $140 a barrel. Now it's back down to slightly less than 100. So we're jumping all over. One of the reasons it dropped was a new COVID outbreak. And China has suppressed demand because two huge Chinese provinces of hundreds of millions of people are under new COVID restrictions, which that is enough to depress worldwide oil demand. So what's happening now is two calamities are canceling each other out for once. Finally, some good terrible luck, Trey. We were due for a break.
But it's not manifesting in the actual prices, right?
No.
Right.
It's
because of the fucking, well, a lot of reasons, but the greed, and I know we're going to get into it, but like the greed of the oil companies, basically, yes. Right?
Well, actually, we can go to that and come back to the next thing, because people tend to think, like, when you talk to actual rich people about money, the brains work different than us, right? Like, one, we think of money as a literal, tangible thing in exchange for a certain amount of goods and services. Like we literally trade hours of our lives in exchange for money. A wealthy person idea that how much money they get will correspond to their effort is laughable. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. That's a child's way of thinking.
Because like hell, it would be physically impossible for any human being to expend the amount of effort which would actually justify the amount of money that rich people make. Do you know what I mean? Yes. Like it's not possible.
Yeah. So, but another one of those things that would be funny to rich people is the idea that we think the way costs work is you take the price combined with the time it makes you to make something and then add a little bit.
Yeah, right.
Just enough to make it worthwhile. That is fucking adorable that we think that. It has costs have no bearing to prices. They're nothing at all. So what's happened is the oil companies, oil prices, by the way, by the barrel are still lower than they were in 2014 when gas prices were 80 cents less. Mm-hmm. Last year, ExxonMobil had their highest profit in 7 years. Chevron, highest profit in 7 years. Shell, highest profit in 7 years. BP, highest profit in 8 years. Gas prices, highest in 7 years. So like, the oil companies are making more than ever. Oil is costing them more in theory. Do you see? Like, there's no reason to raise prices. Like, you could easily take it out of your profits, right? But they're not fucking going to do that. And one of the reasons is they spent all that money on stock buybacks. They're using all those profits to solidify the back end financialization of their company to jack up their stock price. For whatever reason. But I imagine, like, if they're looking long term, everyone knows we're going to run out of oil eventually. So you got to make as much cans for every drop as possible, right? So you've got to establish a false scarcity like you do with diamonds. Now, I I wish we lived in a universe where we were going to burn less carbon. So the fact that oil companies are like the government should figure out how to impose prices on driving so we drive less and burn less carbon. But the oil companies are going to do it. I guess they're essentially the EPA now or some shit. I don't fucking know. But this is all tremendously ridiculous. But something you should know is like you're going to hear a bunch of myths about like okay, we got a war in Russia. We got Russian oil sanctions. We're loosening sanctions on Venezuela. There was an article in the Wall Street Journal this week, which is really funny, doing the opposite of manufacturer consent about communism, saying it's okay to trade with Venezuela now because they're no longer socialist, which is really funny. Still got sanctions on Iran for, I think, I don't know. The sanctions impose a human cost, but I do think the Iranian government's evil, even though the people are nice. But all those things are complicated and they're complex, and no one has a good answer for whether or not we should lift sanctions on Iran to get more oil, right? Because that's a dirty business. You're essentially giving up on freeing. I don't want to get into Iran; it's too much. But like, to buy Iran oil, you're giving Iran money, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're buying. Saudi Arabia is not cooperating with the Biden administration to try to get oil prices down like they did with Trump because they're fucking mad at Democrats for the backlash of killing Jamal Khashoggi, right? And so, but all these things are messy. But what it's easy to do is to blame Joe Biden for canceling the Keystone Pipeline.
Right.
So a pipeline that was 8% built when Biden pulled the permits would not be completed now at all anyway, and it was designed to run from Canada to the Gulf of Mexico to ship oil out to export, not a drop of which would spend time in America other than being shipped through here, is not the reason gas prices are up in Los Angeles.
Right. So I feel like, well, first of all, he's the president right now. Everybody hates high gas prices, so they're just always going to say, look what he's fucking doing. That's number one. But also, they know about the Keystone Pipeline, and they know that Democrats, they're all hippy dippy and want wind and solar and all this shit. That's a general thing they know because we don't want the earth to die. But they know that about Democrats. So they just say Joe Biden has shifted us away from oil and gas in this country. He's fucked over the oil and gas industry in this country in the favor of all this hippy dippy bullshit. And now you see the problem with that because look what happens. But the thing is, none of that is even true. The Biden administration has given out countless permits for domestic drilling, apparently even more so than the Trump administration did at this point in Trump's reign. So he's just not even doing that. That's not true. And again, I wish we weren't continuing to murder the earth either. I'm just saying their arguments are shocking, completely disingenuous in that regard. But it isn't going to stop them from keeping on with it.
The complaint, such as it is they're saying that Biden isn't issuing enough new drilling permits and leases. And what the administration is saying accurately is we've given you thousands that you haven't started exploring or drilling on. Right. Why would we lease more when you just want to put them in your back pocket and keep it? Because you're not spending money on exploration and drilling because you're spending it on fucking stock buybacks.
Right.
But this is why I hate defending Biden on it, because you're right. We should be spending money on solar and wind and shit anyway.
Right.
But the basic facts are Biden. Here's from Vox. Biden has done nothing to halt oil leasing. In fact, the Biden administration has outpaced Trump in issuing drilling permits on public lands and water in its first year, according to federal data analyzed by the Center for Biological Diversity. Again, this is a group tracking it who fucking hates this happening. His administration set a record for the largest offshore lease sale ever in the Gulf of Mexico last year before a federal court blocked the lease sale for not considering climate impacts. They're saying basically Biden's doing evil stuff, but they're not even giving him credit for doing it.
Right.
They're not doing enough evil.
I know.
And it's which is why you don't try to do stuff to appease fucking these evil industries, because they cannot be appeased. They're rapacious. They cannot be filled.
And it's also he's getting blamed for, it's they act like he's holding back the oil companies from expanding or ramping up production or whatever. But that also is not true. Like you say, he's giving them all these permits and leases and whatnot, but they're not expanding their drilling or production operations because instead they're spending those extra profits on, taking care of their shareholders and buying back stock and all that fucking corporate finance Harry Potter bullshit instead of real world investing in the future or, giving some of it back to the consumer in the form of actually lowering the prices to reflect what's happening with the cost or any of that kind of shit that they could maybe consider doing. And, and I don't know why. I mean, there's no impetus really or incentive for them to, conduct themselves otherwise, as long as everybody just keeps blaming Biden for it anyway. And, there's not going to be any kind of regulations levied or anything to make them do any better. So, I mean, why would they? They're happy to continue fucking us over to the tune of record billions in profits every year.
Get the Fox News ready, video ready, Matt. And I'll before I say this, so oil companies are fucking super powerful, right? So the idea that the government would ever do anything to fuck them over is hilarious. Like Joe Biden just had to. This woman was up for a position at the Fed. Now she's known for being a huge climate change activist and a person for better monetary regulation when it comes to the oil companies. They busted their ass to lobby everyone to make sure she would never get appointed. This isn't even at the EPA or the Treasury Department. This is just like a oversight official at the Fed. Would have any power over them. They still did everything they could to just fucking destroy her. Anyway, so the idea that oil companies are making record profits while we're all paying more is apparently even too incongruent for Fox News to completely process. They had this meltdown about it, I think, yesterday.
Watching that young lady sell you on the talking points.
That definitely put me over the top. I concede that President Biden blew it when he crushed domestic oil production.
He did not.
I think that was a strategic error, regardless of the TikTokian presentation there. Biden should admit that he made a terrible error. But this, Sandra Smith, is also true. Exxon, Chevron, BP, and Shell are all enjoying the highest profits they have in 7.5 years.
What's your point?
My point is that the oil companies are reaping record profits. Some of this could be handed to the consumers rather than all of these Exxon, Chevron, BP, Shell. I mean, why don't we look to them and say,
why doesn't the government cut the gas tax then?
But the gas tax is the only thing that keeps the highways together.
We just spent trillions.
So that is fucking funny to me because he says the oil companies should give some back, and he's just saying cut prices or not price gouge, but they mean you think they should mail everyone a check?
Yeah,
it's like he's also arguing against a windfall tax of sorts, which we're going to get to in a second. But what this is war profiteering.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's a messy, chaotic situation. They know no one's going to blame the oil companies. They're going to blame Joe Biden or Putin or whoever. So they're just let's jack it up $3. They even had local news here in LA had an interview with a gas station owner who literally was like, "No, my prices haven't gone up from the oil delivery, the gas delivery trucks. I just wanted to see what people would pay, so he just jacked it up to $7." The fact he would say that in the newspaper is fucking hilarious, but at least he's being honest. But anyway, yeah, so a windfall tax. So Ro Khanna proposed to get windfall tax on gas companies to try to reap some of this money back for the public coffers. Because if you're going to charge $7 a gallon for gas, a couple bubbles of it should go to the public for schools and shit or whatever, to build new roads or invest in better infrastructure so you don't burn so much gas in the future. So, but this is a very complex issue we've been trying to wade into. But what we really need is to have someone who can explain it to American taxpayers like we're children and they're a youth minister. So here's Sheldon Whitehouse walking us through how his version of a gasoline windfall tax he proposed in the Senate.
Hi, I'm Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, and I just filed a bill to reclaim from big oil some of the excess windfall profits that they're earning. And this is my Post-it and pencil explanation of why we need to do that.
All right.
Think of the Post-its as the costs of finding the oil and then drilling the oil and then trucking the oil to the refiners and refining the oil and putting it back in the trucks to get out to the distributors, and then from the distributors it goes to the gas station and you pay what you pay for your gas. In a regular market economy, the price would be related to the cost.
No.
Maybe with just a little bit in there for the shareholders and the investors. But something different is going on in the oil market. because price isn't related to cost. Price is related to an international cartel with prices driven by what Iran and Russia and Saudi Arabia and other countries decide to do. And particularly when Russia decides to start a war, up goes the price. And all of this, which for the major companies that we're going to tax, is $90 billion. $90 billion in excess profit. What my bill would do is take half of that $90 billion.
Take all of it.
45
Fucking take all of it. You can cut it, man.
But it's funny because it's like not even half. You know what I mean? I'm sure
Yeah.
that shit won't get nowhere.
Yeah.
It's like not even half. You know, I like this little post-it note and pencils explanation. When I was first watching, I was like, I don't get how the pencil's going to come into it. What's he going to do with the pencil? But he just, he just held it as a visual aid. I wonder if he had to like plan out. I wonder like how many post-it notepads he had. Like if he went through the thing, he's like, okay, I'm gonna say this and the trucks and this. That's 7. I need 8 post-it notepads. Or if he just kept adding, another thing to fit the number of post-it notepads he had in there. But either way, I found it illustrative. That's exactly the type of thing that we ought do. Like there's no people always like to act like, oh yeah, they work hard for all that money. They earn it. Like people genuinely act like they believe that. And it's like there's no reason why what he just described, which is what's actually happening, should be allowed to happen. Because what's any regular person supposed to do about it? They have you over a barrel, so to speak, and they know it, and they just fuck people. And it's just fine. And they get applauded for it, in fact. And it's so fucking weird why it blows my mind that the 98% of us that are not fucking wealthy or corporate shareholders or whatever in this country are not unanimously in agreement that is fucking bullshit and should not be allowed to go down. But
look, I don't mind the post-it note and pencil thing, although I do wonder what other things they spitballs. Like, could we use paper clips or magnets or what we got around the office without having to go to the store? But the thing is, like, you don't need to explain this so deeply. Like, one thing Trump made really clear in the fact that he was just venting his spleen and anger and people to resonate with people is that people have a vague sense that they're being fucked.
Mm-hmm.
All that drain the swamp, destroy the elites bullshit resonate with people for a reason. I don't need some super complex reason to understand like that it's wrong for a gas company to make an extra $7 billion in profit because a war is happening. That's intrinsically unjust. Just go fucking yell about it. And like it's like I don't need a detailed object lesson of why it's fucked up. Then I look at a hospital bill and an aspirin cost me $2,000.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like there's no reason for that. So I'm just saying like you could literally go out there and be like, you could show the people the post-it note thing on one hand, and another guy who's like me who's on a street corner screaming, "We gotta kill him!" And they'll be equally popular.
Yeah, for sure.
I think I might get more votes.
Matt, go ahead and start looking for some comments and stuff to put up there. But yeah, I don't know if you had parting thoughts on the gas price thing. I saw, and I did say some like market experts or whatever were saying, yeah, it's down $30 a barrel right now because of stuff in China or whatever. But I saw one of them called it the calm before the storm.
Yeah.
So it's probably about to just shoot right back up. But that there's no relief actually enjoyed by any of the consumers, even for this brief respite. It's still some horseshit. It's just a week-long period of an even bigger windfall for them, basically.
We've constructed the entire global economy to be 100% reliant on a limited and dwindling resource that can only be extracted from some of the most despotic, evil places on earth. Maybe somebody should have been yelling about this shit for 50 years. I don't know, but like this moment was always coming. I don't know what to tell. Like it's.
With the added perk of choking the planet to death, in addition to everything you already said. That's so fucking true, man. It's really fucked up when you really think about it that way. Rebecca on YouTube says, smash it, fellow skewers, talking, I believe, about the like button. Yeah, like, subscribe, and all that internet stuff. We do appreciate it. Thank you, Rebecca. I was absolutely going to forget again. Yeah, but, and if Biden's still in office when they eventually do come back down, I remember in 2008, because I was in college or whatever at the time, when it got real bad then, I thought that it was just going to be that or above forever. Like, I didn't understand that it could go back down. You know what I mean? I thought things only went up, and it got crazy expensive for a while, and I thought it would only go up from there. But now, at some point, the prices will come back down, but you can bet your ass if Joe Biden is still the president when that happens, it won't be because of anything he did. It'll be somebody else. The oil companies bailed us out or something, people will say. I don't know, but they won't give him any credit. And, he probably won't really deserve it. It's like he doesn't deserve the blame right now. He won't deserve the credit then. It's beyond him.
The president does not have a lower gas prices button he can push.
Right.
It doesn't exist. And by the way, they will come back down, and then they'll go back up, and they'll go back down. But one day, it's going to skyrocket up because there's going to be one last gallon of oil.
Yeah, that's true.
And it'll cost as much as that fucking Tom Brady football that guy wastes his money on.
Yeah. Kim Cusato on Facebook says, buy Skews merch. Yeah, sure. You can do that too over there at weeklyskews.com. Producer Matt made those. And if you add a /more on the end of weeklyskews.com, well, by God, you'll see the Patreon stuff. What do you think about that? Holler at that too. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just, it's like I said, there's just certain things that, if you are the president, when a thing happens, it's going to get, put on you, and it's just kind of part of the job description. But the way they go about arguing it and everything, and again, just saying things that are patently untrue, I don't know why I'm acting surprised by any of that, but it is annoying. Mark Lockney.
I would say I'd go with Lackney.
Lackney, Mark Lackney on YouTube says, it's my dad's birthday. Maybe throw out a happy 66th to Don. Happy 66th, Don. Add one more to that, Don. And you're the guy who invented COVID. Yeah. Do you know that? Yeah. You and Ronald Reagan. Yeah. Just need one more 6. And they'll be making up theories about you and stuff over in Q land. Christine Smith says, prices have nothing to do with the cost of anything anymore. Everywhere we turn, prices are higher. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a certain point where the cost, where you can't the cost is higher than the price, and the company goes out of business. But that's not necessarily true for any tech company because they keep losing money hand over fist and they stay in business somehow.
Yeah. Isa Q on YouTube says, we're fucked when Geraldo is the reasonable one.
Remember when you used to post sexy shirtless selfies on the Instagram?
Yes, I do remember that. That's right. Rick Dworsky on YouTube says, if you could grow your own gas, it would be illegal.
I know, that's a funny joke about economics, but also it'd be a really dangerous world if you could just grow gas. Maybe it'd all be illegal if you could just grow gas.
People be up to some serious shit with it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Making explosives and all that good stuff.
One video, we ended up not using it, but there was a video that Sinclair Media, which is that super right-wing company that owns all the local news stations in America, was pushing the thing about gas prices and how it's going to drive up food prices. But they were talking to farmers, and are like, diesel fuel's way up, fertilizer's way up. I'm like, wait, why are you talking about those two things back to back? Because those are the two ingredients for a bomb that blew up the Oklahoma City Federal Building.
I've been looking into some stuff. That's all. Don't worry about it. March Madness starting up. Everybody fill your brackets out. GG Tampa Bay. Your last name's the same as of an area in Florida. That's neat. On Facebook says, do you guys think the Dems will totally lose the midterms and all elections up to 2024 because of it? Just because of it and everything. I don't know. A lot of times it swings in the opposite direction and they're all pissed off, and I don't have any faith in anything, especially the Democratic Party writ large. So, I mean, I'm not feeling good about it. I'll tell you that much.
They managed to hold back a lot of redistricting rat fuckery, so the congressional map's not nearly as bad as they'd feared, but the prevailing political trends are all against them. Notwithstanding that their brand is a bunch of ineffectual weenies who, and I like Sheldon Whitehouse, he's pretty good for a politician, but making a post-it note thing instead of screaming at evil people is not what people want to see. They want to release some visceral anger. You should be marching up to Exxon headquarters with a torch. That's more the vibe people need right now.
Yeah. Natalie Nichols. Hey, Natalie, longtime skewer there, says, it's my mom's 83rd birthday, but Tucker Carlson would have to wish her a happy birthday for her to see it. So,
just get the Russian embassy to tweet it and he'll read it out.
Yeah. Happy birthday to your mom all the same. It's, Even Fox News people have birthdays. All right, about to wrap it up. If you want to see me live, go to wellreadcomedy.com for tickets. If you want to see more of us, hear more of us, all that good stuff, go to weeklyskews.com/more, or just look for me on Patreon, and we'll get you some bonus stuff out there. You can support the show. We surely do appreciate it. We appreciate y'all. And either way, we'll be right back here next Tuesday for more Skewsdies. You know what I'm saying?